Another question I wanted to ask was just about your gear. Like, tell us what you're using, and I guess just about the importance or the how important is your camera and the latest greatest stuff to you?
Oh yeah, this is a hot topic in
Oh, okay.
photography. I use a Nikon D750. It's a DSLR. It's pretty heavy, pretty clunky, but I like it. I've always shot on Nikon. In my professional life, I use Canon for work, shooting product photography. But Nikon's usually my go-to. I mean,
Okay.
for me, it's all about what you're comfortable with,
Yeah.
and I really feel like gear doesn't matter. It's all about what you see and how you as a photographer want to capture whatever scene that's in front of you. You can I mean an iPhone, or like the latest greatest mirrorless camera out there. You can still capture a scene. I always tell people who ask me about gear or ask me, just any advice about photography is that, your camera doesn't matter. It's about how you see it and how you want to capture it. The
Yeah.
settings are the same. ISO on Nikon is ISO on Canon. It's the same.
Right.
Once
Right.
you learn the fundamentals, you can pick up any camera for the most part and capture a scene. So I try not
Right.
to get stuck on gear,
Hmm.
but I do prefer Nikon over over Canon if
Well,
I had to choose. But
yeah,
yeah,
but I love that you're using something that's not even not like a recent old
yeah,
thing. It's like that's a pretty old camera at this
yeah. It
point, but
is. It
a
really is.
really solid camera still. And you're making it absolutely sing. Clearly, you don't need a like a Q3 or a X100V or
Right.
X106 or something to
It'll
make
be
good work.
nice to have,
Yeah,
and
right,
nice to
right.
use. I would love to use those, but it's what you're comfortable with. If you want one of those, you want a Leica, then shoot with it. You may not like
Yeah,
it. You might go back to shoot something else, but at least and you will find what you're comfortable with.
yeah. I love that. I've seen some pretty spirited conversations about auto versus manual, uh, and there's some very strong opinions that real photographers only use manual, and then all the shades in between. Where do you stand on that? How do you work?
I mean, just like the gear, I mean, it matters, but just get the shot. If it's
Hmm.
auto, if it's manual, if it's shutter priority or aperture priority, just get the frame. That's
Yeah,
that's the job of a photographer. No one's only photographers
yeah, right.
really care about the settings.
Yeah,
I try not to get too bogged down in it. As long as you get the shot and you're happy with it as a photographer, that's all that matters.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, manual is. I mean, I guess I do have a lot of pride when it comes to shooting in manual. Because it is pretty difficult, especially on the street,
Yeah.
to really play with your settings and get them correct. But sometimes you don't have time to play with your shutter speed. And sometimes you just got to get the shot and
Yeah.
you got to shoot it.
Your style has a very strong quality to it. The shadows are strong, the highlights are strong, the colors are strong. Are you getting most of that in camera, or is there a kind of editing component to that for you as well?
It really depends on the shot.
Okay.
The last three, the last two at least, the colors weren't as vibrant in camera. I usually shoot kind of dark because I want to kind of capture the shadows and the darker parts of the image. But I use Lightroom to edit and VSCO to really bring out the colors. I'm trying to experiment a little bit more with grain. And
Hmm.
Visco is really good with that. I really like
Right.
the grain settings and how you can fine tune those.
Glad to
But
hear that.
yeah, but really those are the two applications that I use to edit. I kind of sometimes I'm editing on my phone. Sometimes
Mhm.
I'm just on my computer going back and forth between the two
Yeah.
applications and seeing what works and seeing what I like and going from there.